Welcome, and in today's video we're doing Tattoo for Beginners Part 2, where we color in the flower from Part 1. So if you want to learn how to tattoo color, then let's go. So let's get right down to it. If you haven't watched my prior video, I'm going to have it linked somewhere up here. Go check that out first, then come back so that way you can see the progress that we're making. So how I want to do this is I'm going to start tattooing, okay? I'm going to start this tattoo. And as I go along, I'm going to talk to you guys. I'm going to explain to you guys the voltage that I'm using during different times, the movements that I'm doing, the color blending that I'm doing. And we're just going to, as this video goes on, I'm going to be stopping periodically and showing you guys this stuff. So stick around for the whole thing. I hope that you guys learned something from it, and let's go. Alright guys, so here's the color that I'm using, the needles that I'm using, the ointment that I'm using. This is our setup for today. As you can see, we got 3 needle setups, 15 Magnum soft edge, an 11 soft edge Magnum long taper, and a 5-round liner bug pin. Let's get to work. Alright, again guys, we're going to start off by putting a really thin layer of ointment on the skin. You almost want to treat it a little bit like doing black and gray work when you're working in these small spots and you're blending a lot of color. Don't overdo it too much. If you know you're going to have to make another pass over it, if you know you're going to have to be blending things, don't overwork it on your first go around. We're stretching the skin just like we did when we were doing our line work. The only difference here is that if you really want to get that ink saturated, you're going to stretch the skin harder. If you're doing like a blend of some kind and you don't want it that pure tight skin and the ink going directly in there, you want it a little softer, loosen up your grip a little bit, loosen up your stretching hand a little bit, and move your hand a little bit faster, and you're going to get a little bit of a different effect. Also, you guys can use all those same techniques, most of them, that you use in black and gray, in color. Just, you're using color, and to get that color in the skin, you want to make sure that you take your time and pack it. Where you want it purely saturated is where you really want to take your time. And sometimes those layering over top of each other will create a nice saturated look as well. But don't overwork the skin. So if you guys noticed when I was working in this flower right here so far, is that I started with a darker tone down here, a bit more of like a maroon mixed with a little bit of black, and then as we came up I lightened it up a little bit, came back in, I added some whites, some lighter reds to give me this real soft, almost like a pink up here. I'm just trying to create a little bit of contrast. It's a small flower in a small area, but if we can create a little more contrast, then, well, that's better. Like right here, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put a pretty healthy amount of like a pinkish tone right here. And I need it to sit, because it's a really light color, I want it to sit heavy. And little circles. See that? See, it went right in there. Now I'm gonna leave that alone because now I wanna start peppering that down into this crevice where it gets a little bit darker. Now I'm going to do more of a brushing technique, okay? We're up on top here. And I just want to sort of pepper that color down a little bit. Not a lot, just a little. you see almost no color will go in when you're doing this, but you just want that little bit of gradient. Okay, now I'm going to dip into a little bit of a red. I still have a little bit of that white already on in my needles, and we're just going to come in here and start filling this up with this medium pink tone. Now I'm going to add a little bit of white, and we're just going to touch the top up there. And guys, right now I'm only running at 7.5 volts. I slowed it down a little bit when I'm shading or coloring, and it also depends on the area and the size of the tattoo. So now we'll hit that darker tone that I told you about. We'll come right in here at the bottom. And just work that darker tone up. Another thing here is when I'm tattooing, I mix most of my colors in the tip of my tube. Some people don't like to do that. They like to pre-mix everything and have it ready to go. But for me, I like to mix it in my tube. Take your time, don't go nuts. If you want more ink to go into the skin in a specific spot, just make smaller circles. Move your hand a little bit slower, but please, for the love of God, don't hold your hand in one spot. Move that machine because, again, those needles are coming out and they're eating that skin up. So if you just keep in that same spot, balls to the walls, you're gonna eat some skin up. So are you just over there wondering how can this just not hurt that at all? Oh my god, how is he doing this right now? I don't feel it. Tattooing is really just fun. Alright guys, that is pretty much part 1 of part 2, tattooing color. As time goes on, I'll be putting out more videos explaining things in more detail, but for now, that should give you a starting point to go from. If you have any questions, go ahead and let me know. I'll do my best to answer those in a timely manner. So if you guys enjoyed this video or learned anything, go ahead and give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and ring the bell to get notifications when I post. So until next time guys, peace.